Hi, it's Michelle, Luvafoodie CEO and owner. Welcome to Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live on Monday Motivation. Today I have a very special guest, and she is sure going to motivate you. She's going to show you how to share your story and how to share your why. Please welcome Erin Duffy to Luvafoodie LinkedIn.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here, Michelle. I've been so enjoying your weekly broadcast here, and I'm just so honored to be on here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, when I thought about the show, when I first had the idea to create it, I wanted to include inspiring people, people that are food makers. And right away, because I know you've got such an inspiring story and you help others, I'm like, Erin Duffy for sure. So tell us, Erin, I know you. We've been friends for a long time, mutual friends with a lot of people. You live in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And you also are a fantastic singer. For anyone who doesn't know, Erin is very talented, actually an entertainer herself. But a couple years ago, you had an idea to create this business, and tell us exactly what your company does and your sort of why you started it.
Well, it's a great question, Michelle, because you and I have known each other for quite a few years, and you remember when I was in corporate and I came from the corporate world. I worked in corporate America for 25 plus years, and I would say I left that in 2017 after a really wonderful career in working in creative services at a fabulous agency out in Silicon Valley, and had a blast and total fun. And I would say I started to kind of feel this calling. I would say probably a year before I left that I kind of wish I could do something more. And as you were just mentioning, I should share it with everybody. I sort of was managing a dual career for at least 25 years. I was in the corporate space working in creative services. I worked my way up the ladder. I left as a vice president of marketing. At the same time, I had a professional performing career. I was a singer actor in town doing a lot of theater, but I also was a cabaret singer. I am a cabaret singer. I was doing gigs on stages across the cities here, as well as in California, and also other places in the United States. And I did this for 25 years. I really enjoyed this sort of dual career and having fun. And I would say around 2016, I started hearing this sort of voice inside saying, gosh darn, I really wish I could merge the best of both of my careers into one. Now, Michelle, I heard that, but I could not have told you what that would mean, right? It was just like,
Right.
what's that? Performing and, being in business and helping clients be successful in the creative space. How do I merge those two? And so when I left in 2017, all I knew was I had said that I want to take all of my experiences, all of my passion, all of my wisdom from both of my careers and do something where I feel like I'm making a difference, where I really feel fulfilled every day, feel like I'm jumping out of bed, excited to make a difference. Didn't know what that was. And my full intent was originally to go back to corporate America and find
Oh,
that position. I really was so excited about it. I never, ever, ever, Michelle, saw myself starting my own company.
really?
No, though I will tell you, most of my friends would have said, Erin, we saw this coming 5 years before you did it, but I didn't see it. And what ended up happening is in 2018, I was ready. I put everything into place, Michelle. I got my LinkedIn updated. I figured out what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do. I was set by the end of 2018. I couldn't wait to go start to, interview and find that next great job. And then my father passed away unexpectedly. And it really shook me to my core. I had lost my mother when I was 30, so many years ago. And so at that point, something hit me unexpectedly, and I could not put words to it. It took me a good couple of weeks to put words to it, but I just knew something shifted inside me. That person I was pre my father passing away felt like she was so far away. She felt like she was behind a veil somewhere, and I really couldn't penetrate her.
That's
And
interesting. Was it a positive
It
shift?
was,
Or,
yes.
so it
It was,
wasn't negative. It was positive.
no, it wasn't. And what's interesting, I love that you said that, because it was sort of hopeful and scary at the same moment, if that makes any sense. And I could
My
not.
life.
Right. You get this. See, this is the thing, Michelle, you will get this story. I know you will, because I finally was able to put words to it, to my husband, to John. And I remember telling him that I don't know what I'm going to be doing next. All I know is it's going to look very different from what we thought. Because when I lost my dad, what shifted in me was like, holy cow, I'm now parentless, which was a new thing for me. And it really shook me to my core, where I realized it's now our time. There's no longer that generation before us. And I realized, gosh darn, Erin, you could be here 5 days, you could be here 50 years, you have no idea. And I thought, I'm not going to waste another moment doing something that isn't fulfilling to me and where I'm not giving back to the world. And that's what drove me. So I ended up taking this course. So this wonderful, wonderful mentor here in Minneapolis, Tracy Pleshcourt, had this amazing program called Career by Design. And it was all for women getting out of corporate, trying to start their own businesses. And when she and I were talking, I said, oh, I'm not right for this, because I don't want to start my own business. I just don't know what I want to do next. And she said the words to me, Michelle, that made all the difference. She said, Erin, you may come through this program without a company. That's okay. But what you will come through is with a life's plan. And
I
that,
love that.
exactly,
I love that.
were the words I needed to hear, because I thought, okay, I can do this. And so the funny thing was, I got into this program, and within 4 weeks, I had an idea for the company. For a company, which, 4 weeks before, I'm like, I'm not starting a company. And the funny thing is that it all was what was starting to happen. It was the nucleus of it, Michelle. And it was that voice, right? Back from 2016, where I was like looking at the best parts of my business world, the best parts of my performing world. And what it came down to, the words that I kept using is like, if I could help business people, career professionals who are trying to find their voice, because we lose our voice along the way. And it was the nucleus of it, was the voice. And of course, for me, being a cabaret singer, it's all about your authentic voice. It's all about authentic storytelling and authentic interpretation of the lyrics, and bringing your voice to that song,
Right.
which I would take that concept many, many times when I was in corporate, when I would present in front of clients. If I brought my true authentic self to it versus trying to be what they expected me to be, every time I truly showed up in my authentic voice, it made such a huge difference in a room. People listened more. You could feel people getting more comfortable, people wanting to get to know you, kind of moving in a little bit more, because you were showing up as your authentic self. So it started out with that idea. And I remember sharing with Tracy and the people in my program, and all of them right away said, well, there's a business idea. And I remember taking a step back. I'm like, really? Like not even seeing it. And
Right.
that was the beginning. And then once I finished that program, Michelle, which was June of 2018, I had sort of built sort of the outline of what a business could look like based on this idea. And I said, what the heck, Erin, you have nothing to lose. You can always go find a job. You can
Right.
always go find a job. Why not try it? So I'm like, I think I'm going to do this. And that started this incredible journey of building Inspiration Squared, which is my company.
Okay.
And I started building my program, which is Own Your Story, Change Your Life. And that literally was birthed out of me. It was
Yes.
taking the process I took in my career to find my authentic voice and to bring that to the professional world. I distilled that down and built a program around that, and have been working with specifically mid-career professionals in helping them to find their authentic voice, but really who they want to be and what they want to be. Because what happens, Michelle, and I think you might be able to relate to this, is that a lot of us, in the world, in the professional world. We get into our job, we get out of college, we're just jazzed, we get in our first job, we're so excited to get into a company, we start to learn and we grow and we learn, we're climbing that ladder, and we look at all these people, all these leaders that we admire, we want to be more like, and then we climb up that ladder. And as we do that, we're gaining a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, but at times too, we're sort of losing a part of ourselves. We shed a bit of ourselves at the door. And sometimes we get to a point where we'll show up and who we are at work may not necessarily be who we really are, but we kind of like almost put a uniform on in a way. And what happens is, and this happened to me, and I now have seen it, happens in mid-career professionals. When we climb up that ladder, we got a lot of success, we're making good money, we have the family, we got the house, we're doing really well, but something inside is telling you that something's missing. Why am I happy? Why am I miserable? I have all this, but I feel like I need to do more. What is that? And they don't know how to break through that. And that is what my program does. Own Your Story, Change Your Life. It's all about tapping into your story, into what you value, what you stand for, and rediscovering those stories, owning those stories, and basically creating that path forward. And it's extremely powerful because it's your story. It's you. It's not somebody telling you, oh, this is what you should do. Oh, read this book or go here, go there. And you do all that, but you still come back and you're like, something's missing. It's because we got to go home. And the home is here.
Right.
You know, I always, my superhero is Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I just, I've always loved Dorothy. And, the
What
answer.
about Toto?
Yeah. And Toto, exactly. And Dorothy, think about it, she had to go on this grand adventure. She kept searching, but the answer was always in her backyard. And the answer is right here. It's just that we have to tap into it. And it's extraordinarily freeing, to watch the transformation happen in my clients from the moment they start. It's amazing.
Erin, it's very empowering. So can you give me an example? Say I work for company B and I'm 45 years old and I come to you. Are your clients thinking about leaving company B? Are they thinking about maybe taking on a hobby, or like you had cabaret as part of your life and that was an outlet for you? So who's your typical client, and I'm just kind of curious. So after they work with you, do they want to leave corporate America, or do they want to add to their life? Or give me a scenario if you can.
Great. That's a great question. I would say all of above, but the majority of people will come to me because they are at a point in their career where they're not happy. Something is missing. Most people will come and think it's the company they work for. They may, I don't want to work here anymore. It's my company. And they'll come hoping for a quick fix. Like if I just leave and go find another job, everything will be fine. But what we always identify very, very early on is like, if you do that, you'll continue the same merry-go-round. You're going to create, because the problem is not necessarily the company. The problem is that you've lost sight of what's most important to you.
Right.
You value,
or you lost yourself in what makes you happy.
And
that's inside
of self. Yes. And so they'll come, and it's so interesting, Michelle. I've had quite a few clients who have come thinking, I want to leave this company. I'm done with this company. Right. And they'll go through this program together, and they have ahas every single week, and they're growing and transforming. And how many times I can say by the time they're done, it never was the company in the first place. It was just that they weren't showing up fully at work, or they were in accounting and accounting wasn't where they want to belong anymore. They really want to be in marketing, but they felt stuck. They felt stuck, and they didn't know how to find the courage to step out of just the norm of where they've been for so long. There's so much fear. There's just a lot of people are stopped by their own fear. And I help them step out of that fear.
You're fearless. You are very fearless, and that's what you need as a coach, as an inspirational, motivational person, coach, however you want to define yourself. So explain to us who are our LinkedIn listeners and our followers. And first of all, LinkedIn is such a good platform for you to be on because that's who your audience
Absolutely.
is. And
Yes.
not,
Yeah.
you're not addressing the stay-at-home mom, but you're probably, so good for you to be on LinkedIn as much as I see you. And what is the process? And if I were to get involved, what kind of commitment am I looking at as far as time?
Yes. So as far as time for, the Own Your Story, Change Your Life program, that full program is a 10 session program.
Okay.
And I say sessions, Michelle, because all of us here in the professional world know that we have busy business lives. And, I've had this program now for going on 4 years, and this is pre-COVID, but, I have clients that travel. I have clients that are going and doing. And so I would never say 12, I would never say 10 weeks, because sometimes I'll have people that will like, I have to do it every 2 weeks because I'm traveling, or I only have enough time every 2 weeks. So what I do is I sit down when we initiate the program and we really look at where they are
Okay.
today. Where do they want to be? And that's the big thing. Where do you want to be when this is over? What's missing right now? And really identifying that day one. And it makes them think, and it's because a lot of times we forget about ourselves. A lot of times we put other people, other situations ahead of ourselves. But when you ask a question to somebody direct and say, you have to commit to that, right? Where do you want to be 10 weeks from now or 10 sessions from now? And we start there. And then once we get through that first part, we really sit down and look at their schedules. And it's like, does this program work for you every week or every 2 weeks? And let's get those scheduled. We get them scheduled out, and then the commitment really is, I would say, every session, there's like 2 to 4 hours of homework. But again, this homework is about you. It's digging into your stories. It's talking about you. I mean, here's a great, once we get through that first session, the second one that we go into is what I call your emotional satisfaction DNA. And we
Okay.
identify that. And that is I made that up, but that is what brings you joy. Those are the things that we lose sight of. Many of us do. By the way, just to let you know, I am a client to myself. Like I said earlier, this was birthed out of my own experience. So I can honestly tell you, I didn't know my emotional satisfaction DNA. I didn't know what lit me up, what got me out of bed in the morning, and basically what were my non-negotiables. And when you're able to identify your emotional satisfaction, your non-negotiables, and look at them, and there's 5 of them, we get down to where we identify them. If those 5 things are not showing up, right away, you know that you're not in the right place.
Are
Right
those
away, you need
5
change.
for everybody, or are they all independent of each person and each client?
Each person's different. Yeah. And that's the fun part about that exercise, because they get to, and I mean, I guide them. The tool that I developed, it guides you. So you're not making it up. It's like I guide them through it. But when they claim it, and by the way, that we're already tapping into stories, because when I have them, kind of click into the first identifiers of that, there's like 10 of them identified. I make them tie it into a story. Where did that show up in your work life? Where? Just a quick story. Because what we're doing too, Michelle, is connecting the brain to that identifier. Because a lot of times we forget this. But if we have story, which is part of us, to that identifier, you'll remember it. It'll make you hold it more, because it is yours. You're owning it versus just saying words. You're identifying it to yourself. And then when we narrow it down to the 5, I mean, it's amazing to watch people go, oh my God. And I'll ask flat out question, okay, how much of this is showing up today? And you would believe how many clients I've had who's like, oh, wow, this is like totally missing. No wonder I've been interviewing over and over and over again, even though I'm so unhappy at my other job and I keep interviewing, but I can't find. It's because they didn't even have the simplest thing. What are your non-negotiables? And
Oh,
everything is
yeah.
different.
It sounds like then you give them the tools during this 10
Oh, yeah.
or 12-week session, but they have these tools and insights about themselves. So 6 months from now, if they're encountering another situation, they can go back to their toolbox and say,
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Erin, it also sounds like some of these like your non-negotiables or these things could be used in relationships.
Oh, well, this is the thing. I mean, it's like, I own your story,
Let's do a dating
change your life, because I'm a firm believer that our career and our life are intertwined. And Michelle, because what you do, I mean, you are in love with what you do, and you are incredible at what you do, right? And you can tell you're in love with it. You jump out of bed, you're excited, even though it's hard work. You and I both know it's hard work, but you love it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when we love what we do, there's no like career life thing. It's one and the same. We spend hours and hours and hours working. Shouldn't we be in a place where we feel fulfilled and valued, and we feel like we're giving back and we're making a difference in whatever matters to you? I mean, it's so important. And we lose sight of those things, especially as we get into the workforce and we start to, go down that career journey and have lots of success, but we sometimes lose that. And when we reclaim it, and here's the beauty about reclaiming it and owning it in our late 30s and our 40s, you won't forget it. You do not forget it. Now you own it. Now you walk forward in it every single day, and you know it. And also, you get such clarity when you do, when that thing that bothers you starts showing up right away, because you're so aware now.
I'm curious. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm curious, Erin, how many people have gone through your program and their friends or their family or significant other or their children have said, you're not the same. Did something happen to you? Have you ever? No, seriously, because sometimes, I mean, is it that life-changing that friends or family will notice?
Absolutely.
That, maybe you did something different, or did you read a new book? Has that happened?
Well, many times. And what's interesting is most of my clients' significant others will know they're going through it. And through the process, I have one client, her partner from day one was like, oh my God, you are every time you guys get done with the session, it's like you're a new person. And every week she would just comment on how much life has changed. Like you're so lighter and you're brighter and you're just like smiling all the time and you're just go-getting. And I haven't seen you like this in years. I mean, that's just one of many, because they're transforming, and you're transforming for your good, for the good of you, not for somebody else. Because I always say, you got to put yourself first. It's the best thing you can do for your family, for your friends, for your company. When we're serving ourselves first, it is the best thing for everybody around you, because you're fulfilled. You're full. And what a better way to be sharing with the world than knowing that you are fulfilled and you're doing your life's purpose.
Well, and I think you're a healthier person, because so many people that are unhappy, they're looking for that man or that woman or that kid or that job or that, whatever that fix is to make them happy. And nobody can make you happy other than yourself.
Other than yourself, right.
Other than yourself. And so, the blame, I think it really forces people that don't want to own their story and own, it's not somebody else's fault. If you're not happy, change your life. If you don't like what you're doing, change your life. I did it. I created a brand. I laid awake one night at 3:30 in the morning. And I came up with a Luvafoodie idea.
I know.
It's scary, but I think what you're teaching people is you got one life to live. It's yours. You can make it good. You can make it bad. You can make it mediocre. You decide.
Yes. Yeah. And just like you were saying with Luvafoodie, I mean, that's really how Inspiration Squared started in so many ways, was the fact that, my dad passing away and realizing, good God, I mean, your mortality becomes more real when your parents are gone. At least it was for me. I've always been very intuitive. That is one of those, core competencies that I have. Always, since I was a little kid, I could feel everything.
Right.
And so it affected me more, I would say, than even, my brothers and sisters, but that's just who I am. But I listened to that voice, and it really, meant a lot. And it's true. We could be here today and tomorrow and gone tomorrow. And the thing is, when you think about it, the last 2 years has taught us that globally, I mean, with, having the pandemic, I mean,
Yes.
think about it. Life changed on a dime for everybody around the.
And I believe, Erin, and I don't know if you do, but I believe forever. I don't believe we'll ever get back
Nope.
to where we were. And some people have been so impacted in such a negative way because of COVID and
Yep.
lost their why, lost who they are. So I
Right.
your even though you started your company 4 years ago, your brand and your mission is more important now in the last
Absolutely.
years to help people.
Yep.
So
Yep. And yeah, that's true.
right,
Right.
tell
Mm-hmm.
people how they can get. I kind of try to keep everything to maybe 30-35 minutes. How can they get in touch with you? Um, do you have a website? Are you on social media? Can we follow you?
You
Tell us about Erin. How we can find Erin.
So I'm everywhere. No, I'm kidding. But I am. But
Hi.
I'm like Michelle. So yes, I do have a website. So
Okay.
inspirationsquared.com. So it's, as you see down here, Inspiration Squared is
Okay.
SQRD.com. So I do have a website, and there it really does outline all of my programs, because like you and I were talking earlier today about, I also have the stage presence authentic program as well, which I've been working with a lot of speakers, but also, like I was saying to you earlier, that so many people today were asked to be present on camera. And a lot of people have been having a hard time making that connection with their audience. So I took a lot of my training and a lot of my programs that I did for people on stage and took it to the camera. And that's been a lot of fun. So if you were to go to the website, you could see a list of all of those programs and a couple of my freebies, as well as I am on Instagram, excuse me. So, and it is Inspiration Squared, at Inspiration Squared, and then also LinkedIn. And I am on Facebook. I don't do as much on Facebook. I mean, I do post some stuff, but I would say I'm like you, Michelle. LinkedIn is
Right.
your one for me. And I love the, Instagram and the photos and the stories and stuff. So
We have a couple comments. Let's see. Yeah, Susie Goodwell says, yes, being passionate about your job is so huge. Cindy says, hello, Michelle and Erin, enjoying this afternoon and the lovely energy. Thank you, Cindy and Susie. We love comments.
thank you. Thank you.
Erin, have you thought about writing a book to incorporate these tools and these strategies?
Yes. And it is funny you would ask, because I have been asked about that for over 2 years to write a book. And I am thinking definitely about doing that. It's really getting a partner, not a partner, but getting a writer to help me with that. So, writing a book, like I could write it, but I would need an editor, sort of
Sure.
thing. A lot of people, especially now that I've, created, the couple of different programs, and it's all really about our authentic presence and really talking about how to bring that and make connections. I'm starting to think about it. And in some respects, Michelle, it's sort of like, and this, when I wrote my one woman show back
Which
in.
is fabulous. And
That's what you saw that.
I loved it. And is that available for anyone to view, just so they can get a little touch of who Erin is? Because Erin wrote the story, and Cabaret is sort of a little mini entertaining story about her life, and her mom passes in the songs. And is that available for anyone to watch?
It's not. And it's one of those things I need to figure out how to do that. Because when I performed it multiple times, but every time we've done it, we didn't really have a video set up. We had a couple, people with the cameras and stuff, but we never got a full recording of it.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful show, and it's called Own Your Story, Change Your Life. No, it's not Own Your Story. Sorry, that's my program. I Never Went Away. That was the name of it, and it was all about. And again, what's odd about the show, Michelle, when I think about my show and I think about my company, I Never Went Away was the story of me as a child wanting to be a singer actor, and my mom always saying, "No, you're going to starve in the street," and me going to college, and.
Right.
And then you can't go to college. We're not going to pay for theater arts. And so I did, television and film, but I still was singing and acting. And it's this idea of, as many times as people try to push my dream down, I kept doing it. And I really did become the professional singer actor, even though forever and ever people pushed me down. And so it was that idea of I never went away. And what's so ironic when I look at my show and I look at the company I put together, it is that idea of telling everybody, you've never went away either. That person.
I like that.
that
I
you
like
may have
that.
let go of is still there. We just have to find her and him. We just got to,
Yep.
we gotta find them and just bring them forward, because you know what? The world needs you. Firm believer.
And not everybody's been told that.
No, they haven't.
So we need people like you, if they
Yeah,
don't have that support in their life, to help, because
exactly.
people are
Yeah.
struggling today and everybody needs help. So, well, I think a book would do a good job. I would sell, and I think that should be on your to-do list.
Yes, it is one of those ones on my to-do list.
Um, but well, Erin, it has been a pleasure having you on my show today. You are perfect for LinkedIn Live, perfect for the show, and I hope today some people that are watching will contact Erin. She's very. This is really how Erin is. She is always upbeat. She's always happy. This is not an act. This is the
Yeah,
head
no.
Erin. I've known Erin for years in the social aspect, and you're always a delight to be with. And she has a lovely husband, John. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Who's also a foodie. So, and I think anyone would really benefit by spending some time with you and your company and learning some tools to help them live a better life. And that's really what you're trying to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's nothing more rewarding. I'm honestly, to be honest with you, there's one reason I love working with clients, because it is incredibly rewarding for me, just watching them shine. I just love watching that happen, and then just just excel beyond belief,
Yeah.
and to me, that's worth more than gold. It's so beautiful.
And
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else I mean, I know there's coaches out there, but I don't really know anyone else that's kind of doing everything you're doing. Plus, it has the personality that you have to help. I mean, because I get, contacted all the time by life coaches. Oh, do you need this or that? But it's also trusting the person that you're going to hire to help you. And I would totally recommend you to anyone.
Thank
So
you, Michelle. Thank you so
contact Erin, everybody. Have a great Monday motivation, great rest of February. We will not have a show next week because I will be at the National Grocers Association in Las Vegas. Yeah, but we will be back on March 5th with, I have to plug this guy because I'm telling you, I don't need a lot of snacks. But these are the best. These are Rose Sister Chips. The
Oh, those
owner,
are lovely.
oh my gosh, Erin, the owner will be on Monday the 5th. He sent me because he knows that when I get these, I can order them on his website. I literally will eat the whole box. There's 3 in a box. I will eat the whole box within like 2 days.
Okay, I need that. You need to send me a link for that.
I'm serious. John would love these. Serve them with a little guacamole, or I mean, they're so flavorful. But Marcus was nice enough to send me a set for the show, and he's like, I also know that you don't have any willpower, and you will eat these before March 5th. So here's an extra set. It's funny. I was telling my mom about these this week, and she's like, well, can I have a bag? No, Mom. I'm a very generous person except when it comes to these chips.
They're amazing. Can't wait to try them.
But anyway, they're really good. So once again, thank you, Erin, and I will see you and John hopefully at a sushi event soon.
That's right. That's coming up in a month. So yay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks so much.
Really fun.
Have fun. Have fun on your trips. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.